I clicked on a button that puts us live, so we will be live and we're live. Keith?
All right. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Ex-police officer Derek Chauvin, convicted of killing George Floyd, has been stabbed in federal prison. What a shame. Hi, everybody. You hate the violence begets violence, and it's sad all around. Tell your friends. Today's guest is the great Murf Meyer. Hello, Murf.
Hey, how are you?
Murf Meyer does the Weekly Dose podcast. You want to be part of that? He's also participated in the Chris Gethard Show, Major League Baseball Network, and the Self-Medicated podcast series. And everybody loves Murf. It's great to see you.
Hey, yes, that spinoff from Everybody Loves Raymond that I've been pitching CBS for a decade now.
Murf has that or Murphy White.
That's right. Yeah.
Murf has it looks like a Russian hat. Well, we say Ukrainian hat now, right?
Well, yeah, you got to be careful with that. I mean, I guess I would have to say, I don't know. I mean, it's all a mess, right? Zelensky's on the cover of Vanity Fair, so I'm trying to cop some of that sexy, love that they get.
Do you follow? I mean, is this weird? Do you follow what goes on regularly? I don't know.
I do. I lose my mind. Yeah, no, I lose my mind doing it. But yeah, I do. It's there's a lot of money being funneled to all kinds of places and no accountability for it. So it's fun. It's been a fun.
Now, if you follow all of this, you're allowed to wear that hat, right?
I think I've earned this hat.
It's not appropriation if you learned enough facts about the history and culture. And I see.
I believe that's right. Also, I think Peruvian, this hat is like Peruvian. So I think in Peru they were, it's ethnically ambiguous. So you would think Russia immediately with this hat, but I believe it's all over.
Now, either way, have you ever stepped foot on any one of these countries?
Zero. No.
Okay.
This was a present from my mother-in-law. So that's
so you have to wear it.
I must on camera one time, and this is it. So
is he?
I immediately regret it.
This isn't a loaded question. I really don't know. I assume Zelensky has to be in public to get money, even government support, while you're on the cover of a Vanity Fair. Does it seem too much? Is it too Holly weird?
It's a little too Holly weird. I mean, then again, he was elected. He's a comedian, actor, president. So as far as puppets go, he's been a good one. He's good looking. He's charismatic. But I think it's starting to run. I think his time is running short. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of wars going on, so there's a lot of money to be spread around by that.
Right? Is he bummed out by that? Like, no, I
think so.
Class president.
I think he was like really enjoying his moment. Him and the wife, power couple. They look great. They're out there. I think they had a moment, but now it's like, I mean, it was more than 15 minutes. But yeah, I do think he's a little bit like. I saw an interview with him recently that was kind of sad because he's basically like, hey, listen, this isn't even like, don't think of it as a gift. Like, I'll give some money back. Like, you give money now, and then when we have money later. And this is like an interview with like ABC News, and the woman's like, I don't know who you're pitching here. This isn't Shark Tank. Right. Like, this is. But I guess Mark Cuban, for those reasons, he's out. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah,
there's a lot going on. Things are getting complicated, and for that reason,
I'm out.
On every Wednesday in the chat room, keithandthegirl.com/chat, we yap. It gets intimate. It gets hilarious, sometimes sad. We also play poker so that you can, it's like I heard that, like, some people, they go through trauma and they don't know how to talk about it. And what they do is like they look at a light that's moving back and forth, like the front of the kit car. And so they're not really thinking about what they say, and they can let things out. It's related to me. It's like watching football with a buddy. You can share your feelings as long as you're both facing straight ahead. That's why we do poker in the chat, I think. You're not really thinking too much, because you're worrying about this fake money, and a lot of people spill some secrets. That's
a great idea, actually. That makes total. I believe in that philosophy. Yes.
I'm not buying this. I'm not buying the story. I'm not buying this philosophical moment. I'm not buying it at all, because the truth will now be revealed in that magical moment where we go abracadabra, wow, and he goes ta-da. What would you actually like to say about the chat?
First place again, the kid, sometimes known as the king. That's me. It's scary. It got down to the last three, and I really blew it. I think I had like 50 cents. They had $25,000. Again, fake money, of course. Then I go all in, because I don't have a choice. And the goddess was smiling upon me. Next thing you know, everybody's lifting me up on their shoulders. It was very exciting. What a great way to start a holiday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's what we were waiting for. This could have been much faster.
I already said it. I was waiting for Murph, to be honest.
Congrats,
But
congrats.
No, but he was real about his
Hats
shit.
off. Hats off.
He was like, kind
I was
buddy.
processing. Yes.
Murph was like, I have a 2-year-old. I have congratulated literal shit. Please.
All day, every day with the congratulations. Yes.
Did you just poop?
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
clenching-
My nephew's birthday is this Saturday, just like mine is. And he goes, I'm like, what should we do for your birthday? We're taking them to the circus. They don't know. So I hope they're not listening to podcasts that are completely out of their age range. Anyway, shout out to them. Please, if you know them, do not email them. They don't have an email address. But he's like, I think maybe he's 4. He's turning 4. Cake and maybe a stuffy. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you a poop stuffy. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck, there are emojis that are
Right.
So now I'm getting him a poop stuffy. I swear to God, this is actually happening. And that's how it happened. So
yeah, once you make a promise, they will not forget it. It's like they file it away. It's like now you are on the hook for that poop stuffy.
I was just telling them one of their jokes. They go, knock, knock, who's there? Poop on your head. So I was poop on your head for a second and it backfired. I think they knew this whole time. I think it's been a long con to get some stuffed poop shit.
You got inception.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be on the train with poop now.
But it's important that I win because there's a Keith and the Girl tournament every so often. And that's coming up. And I don't want people to think I just have it in. They got to,
Sure.
those guys like, because it's your server,
Just because your name's on the tournament doesn't mean it's not above board.
That's right.
Like if you see Craig in there, that's different.
That's different.
He's one of God's angels.
That's a gimme.
Wait, now hold on. I'm sure you've already said this, but please just to catch me up to speed here. You and Craig reunited. It feels so good. This is exciting.
It does. Of course, I missed him very much. I realized that even though I know why I was upset, I didn't have to put him on blast the very next day. I knew him for 2 decades. What was the hurry? And he was gracious enough to accept my apology.
Oh, bless you too. I love you too.
Yeah. What did you guys do for Thanksgiving?
Went to the Oregon coast. My mother-in-law has a beach house there. That's where I got this hat. It was a little chilly on the coast, so I got this alpaca hat. Just hung out with the kiddo. There's actually something called a king tide. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's not as common, I guess, on the East Coast, but it's basically where like when high tide comes up, it comes to a certain point, but then there's swells of waves that can go like 100 feet or more further. So people who don't know about this will be walking on the beach. And, when you go down to the beach, you see like, oh, how wet is it up until the sand? This looks like an area I could walk along. But then all of a sudden a huge wave just swells. So there's like a few of these a couple times a year, I guess, down there. And it was king tide. So it was getting crazy. Like the waves looked like nuts, especially for the West Coast. They don't usually have like surfing waves, but this was.
Are you just watching people getting taken by waves?
Yes. No, people were being taken there. So people have the cell phones. Of course, their last bit has got to be like live streaming their own death. So it's like they're out there holding the thing. And as they see it coming up, they'll just hold their phone up and like water's coming up to. Yeah, wow. It's intense. So we saw a couple of close calls. But we knew, we got the heads up when we were going down there. So we didn't actually walk along. We had the dog and the baby and stuff. So we were like, yeah, let's keep them.
Is this a lack of signage or is this just.
He's not telling anybody. He's making his own video.
That's right. Yeah. No, I was recording it all from a safe distance with the long lens.
You can have a super cut.
Yeah.
So good from your perspective.
Yes, with Benny Hill music just playing in the background as people are swept away.
Oh,
no, I guess it's a lack of signage. Yeah. I mean, and just people like, you get, I think it's common. I think at a certain point you have, even if you don't know exactly what's going on, it's like you either have that connection with nature where you respect it or you don't. It's that thing where you're like, you feel like, oh, this is a little bit powerful. There's something going on here that doesn't feel, normal. Let me keep my distance. And some people are like, I'm going out to get the shot. So I don't know.
That's why it's so important, especially during the summer months when you can get in the water, to punch the waves the way I do, along with the children that happen to be around me, because all of a sudden the roosters come home to thing and it's winter, and all of a sudden, boom, you're dead because there's nothing you can do about it now. You didn't,
they don't respect you. They have no respect for you unless you show them who's boss.
Yes.
In the summer months.
When they're coming home to thing, you got to think about it.
Yes. I was during Thanksgiving afternoon. I went and saw my buddy Josh Accardo, who lives down the street, and he has a 2-year-old kid who I haven't met. The couple times I'd be over there, the kid would happen to be sleeping, and parents are like, "No, you don't even get to see a picture of my kid, just in case he feels it. He's staying in bed." This is the first time I've ever seen this happen. So there was another couple with a 2-year-old also, and they're running around and playing, and all of a sudden, you don't even know what happens, but they're mortal enemies, right? And they just hit all of a sudden. So they separate them, and then the one kid comes out and is like, "I'm sorry," and then the other kid so they go, "Say sorry," and if you're sorry, and he's like, I'm sorry," and I'm like, I've never seen that work in my life. I've never seen the kid's like, and then the parent goes, "Well, that counts. They heard me say you're sorry." But Josh is a good parent, it seems, as far as I can tell. I've never seen it work in my life, ever.
No,
any
I've seen that offered.
Say sorry.
Yeah. I've seen that attempted many times, though. But yeah, I agree. I've never seen.
It's really it's the one parent saying to the other parent, "We're sorry." That
yes,
right.
But kid did it. I'm like, oh my god, all right, well, good for you guys.
Raising them right.
And his wife Lauren, her parents were there, and I asked Josh later how old they were. 73 years old, and I asked because it blows my mind when older people are cool, because all I can do is compare everybody to my dad. My mom passed away. My dad's early 80s. But I'm like, how are these people so cool? They get it. And my dad was a piece of shit forever. What God has a multiple personality disorder that is making these people completely different? Like there's extra no excuses now for my dad.
No, I feel like there's a crossroads in everyone's life where you can either double down or you can just be like, okay, I'm going to learn something from some of the lessons. I'm going to soften a little. I'm going to open up. I've seen that. Yeah. Once you double down though, and I've not met your father, not speaking ill of him, but I've heard plenty about him. But I feels like, I feel like the double down happened in that respect where, sometimes you choose the other road. You could be like, hey, I'm going to spend the back half here, just, maybe chilling out a little bit and learning something, but that's not for everybody.
At the start of 40, when your body and mind start to just behave differently out of nowhere, no matter how much of the usual regular health that you give to yourself, whatever that is, all of a sudden it starts doing something, and you have the option to start shaking your fist and blaming people, or, moving your fist around because you're jogging or something. I don't know. You really do have this option.
These things aren't easy, are they, Kemda? These sayings aren't easy, are they?
Yeah. No, they're not. They're very things. No, very much. But it's very, very hard. But I feel like remember when we were growing up, it's when we saw a dude get a Maserati, or like, because he's in his 40s and when we saw him like break up and date a younger person. I mean, you saw women say like, hey, things are different, and they would get pills against their like hysteria. So we were dealing differently with it, with different sexes. Now I think we're going like, hey, this feels different, and we either start being anxious about it or start, finding what to do about it. And that's the doubling down, I think.
So. I also love giving you did say 40. I was kind of thinking that too, as midlife crisis, because now that I am over that hump, I'm 42. I'm like, I'm comfortable saying that's midlife. When I was like 17, I felt like I was midlife. I mean, it was probably my lifestyle, the way I was living. But I'm like, if I make it to 30, this will be exceptional. I'm going to call this a midlife crisis, what I'm doing here when I'm 18, 19 years old, all these drugs. But yeah, I think now that I'm 42, I'm like, yeah, sure, that's midlife. I'll hit 80.
Josh was there, our friend Harry was there, and so we're telling people about what we're working on, our latest projects, this kind of thing, and I bring up the Dad Emails book, and very excited about it. The older people are obviously hear what we're saying, and I'm like, well, they're gonna find this a turn off. I'm putting personal emails about my dad out there. They couldn't hear more fast enough. I'm like, they're like, oh, yeah. And, talking about my mom has dementia, so my dad's hitting on my ex-wife, then telling her that I'm talking shit about him. And they were on the edge of their seat. It's very exciting to see, normal people.
Yes. That's what
I love them because they're normal. Yes, it's crazy and it's interesting.
I also love what's been normalized too, because I feel like that with my family is nuts. But I used to watch when people would watch like Maury Povich and whatnot. I'm like, look at these crazy people going off, and I'm like, yeah, look at this crazy family. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It's a circus sideshow here, right? This isn't just Christmas.
My dad's still hoping somebody says you are not the father.
Yes. Still waiting for those results.
My in-laws were really cool, and I was so not used to it. They would sit down with me, we're eating, they'd be like, wow, we're really proud that you had that moment and whatever in your career, in your life, in your whatever. And I would wait, and I'm like, but what is the disappointment here? And they would just keep eating. And it would blow my mind.
Right.
Like they just needed to say something that they're proud and that they see me. And I'm like, okay.
Right. Okay, but go ahead. How did you do it better when you were half my age? Go ahead. Oh, really? That's it. That's it. I did something good. Okay, well, fuck you too, because
right. Like while this good thing happened to me, how was I embarrassing you? Go ahead, please. You have the floor.
Yes. Center yourself quickly.
My brother Ken is like, I can do a unicycle now on the scary small, motorized unicycles, and he can do it with one leg now. I don't know why you'd ever have to do that, but all right, if an emergency comes up, that's good to know. So that leads to my dad telling a story about how he learned to do Olympic skiing moves in half an hour. Like, how about congrats?
I know it's been said before, it's not breaking new ground, but are the boomers, is it the most narcissistic generation imaginable? Like, it seems like every person I talked to said, no. Who do you think that is?
The next one, whatever.
Gen X?
Now, yes, all I'm hearing is you just turned 40.
Yeah.
That's it. You are on script. Now, do you want to keep reading that script or what's up?
Right. No, that's true. It just seems like every story that boomers hear, it immediately becomes somehow about them. Like they need to make it like, well, I did this, or that's a thing about me. There's just not even like a half pretend like, oh, that's interesting. And then wait 30 seconds and then launch into your thing. It's almost like, I don't know. It feels like they're shoehorning themselves into every.
I can only say, with my dad, but yeah, it was absolutely that. Meanwhile, we grew
your
up
father speaks for all boomers, by the way.
Right.
He's a monolith. They're a monolith for sure.
Why do you have to brag? I grew up in your house, not vice versa. It was a house.
Right.
That's cool. Relax. You don't have to pretend that you taught the weightlifting team how to win the Olympics. By the way, not an exaggeration. He said that. Okay, never watched weightlifting on TV. That was interesting. The Malleys didn't see the Olympics. We didn't go out of our way to watch the Olympics ever. But anyway, he moved on. He was done with that part of his life. It was just his birthday, as a matter of fact. And in his honor, I put out that video. Take a look if you haven't seen it. KeithandTheGirl.com/Adolf. And it's
what?
And do you remember what was that? The World War II movie. And it was the downfall of Hitler. I think it's called Downfall. And he's with the top brass in a private room, and he's losing his shit. He's in denial about the war ending. And it's a great movie, and that's a great scene, but it became so popular that people started substituting the captions. And this guy, J86, he goes by, put it where Hitler's my dad, and he can't believe that I catfished him. And it's so, if I may say so myself, I didn't make it, so I can't. It is so fucking brilliant.
It's next level. It's
next level.
Wow, because it's dubbing it on top of the words.
Yes.
So it's not just here's a picture. It's like it looks like they're actually saying that, and it goes along with the story so well.
Oh, that's great. I gotta peep that.
So KeithandTheGirl.com/Adolf. Happy birthday, Dad. All right. Brother Love said happy Thanksgiving to me, and he said, when are you coming by? We miss you here in Nashville. I said, when I get an invite. He said, you're always invited. What the Brother Love, goddammit. You're always invited. I said, okay, I'm outside. Maybe break the news. This is the guy that's 1 year ago. We had this debacle. He's like, yeah, brother, come over anytime. I'm like on an airplane, and he goes, all right, now let me ask my wife. Like, okay. How long you want to stay? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not in people's way. I'll stay the week. Yeah, that's great. All week we can do this, that. A concert, football. And then I get this fucking vibe where I'm like, I think a week's putting you out. And I go, all right, I'm gonna leave in 3 days. And he goes, oh, thanks for saying that. I was like, because you just thought your wife knows now. Okay. Then I gotta act like it's, well, of course, who comes over for a week? But when they say yes,
how do you guys survive?
barely.
Okay. A lot of takeout.
Struggle. It's a struggle.
The world's so nuts in general. I started watching the new Godzilla TV show because Kurt Russell's in it, and I'm not really into TV shows. If it, I'm more a movie guy, but for whatever reason I love Kurt Russell. I'm kind of proud of myself, by the way. There's only 3 episodes out now, total of 10, and I'm out. Show me some fucking dinosaurs. I don't need family drama. Dinosaurs, monsters, or nothing. But I Google like, hey, am I wrong that this is moving too fucking slow? So I start typing in, I'm going to Google for autofill, is Godzilla TV show. And then let's see, bad, boring, dumb. I just want to know the world agrees with me. I start typing in, is Godzilla. First thing an autocorrect comes up, is Godzilla real? Then I do Godzilla TV show is, and it autofills.
A documentary.
Is this show real?
No.
Not just Godzilla now. It's a land of monsters, all kinds of monsters. Is that real, though? I mean, I don't know. Japan's kind of far away. Is that real? And they said something happened in San Francisco, but I might have been too young.
Yeah, that's rough. I remember that reminds me of I think it was like the scene in Jurassic Park where might have been that the iconic like the water thing, yeah, and the T-Rex going. And I remember, so that obviously this was like early days of YouTube, but this was probably one of the most viewed videos in the early days of YouTube. And the first comment was, "Is this real?" Was also the very first comment that got a lot of interaction too. But I guess it depends on where you're coming from. Everyone's reality is
what? Are you in heroin again?
It depends on where you're coming from. I am zooted right now, and I don't know. Is it real? I don't know. I haven't seen this Kurt Russell narrated documentary you speak of.
Why do we act like we all have the same computer simulation going on?
Yes,
right? Everybody has different.
Well,
different
and I'm gonna say another thing here that will actually just be like, ooh. But when I worked at the Museum of Sex when I lived in New York. I was a security guard there, and one of the other security guards I worked with, Alisson, his name was, wonderful man, from Senegal.
Oh boy, please never describe me as wonderful.
The greatest ever.
Yeah,
not as wonderful.
I don't. There's something about it, like
yeah,
something tells me he's about to not do something wonderful, which is why we had to know that he's wonderful.
He's a wonderful man, yes. I'm about to disparage him.
It just turns out he said, "Is the clitoris a myth?"
He did. He was cute. Is the clitoris real? He's like, I know that Godzilla's real, but is the clitoris real? Yeah, no, but we were also watching something with dinosaurs on the computer. Someone was one of the people selling the dildos there, and we were both security guards, and he walked up and he was saying, what is he had never heard of dinosaurs was the thing. So he was very enthralled by like, oh, is this like a real thing? So, I don't know. It depends on where you come from, I guess, is what I would say.
Oh, he comes from the salt of the earth.
Salt of the earth. Yes. He also kept his wife in a closet. He told us in all seriousness. So there's that too. But yeah, that was Alisson. He's wonderful, by the way. He's a wonderful.
His wife
man.
can be hidden in a closet, but he's allowed to work at the
Museum of Sex. Yes.
Is it a one of those chain up closets where it's a sex closet?
Sexy, yeah. I think it was a consensual situation.
Oh,
okay. Well, that is important, Murf.
Sounded religious.
Someone locks their person in a closet.
I'm now giving him the benefit of the doubt because I said his name at least, so I feel bad.
So let me just tell you, he was mad fucking.
He was
okay. Huge prick. This guy. Good for him.
I mean, no dinosaurs, but he knew dick.
Right. But that's the thing. You'll see, is Godzilla real? And I bet if you click on that name, you see the other post and it's real opinions on the Middle East. And,
yes, a lot of hot takes.
Right. I started wanting, in spite of my. So here's what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I saved time not watching this Godzilla TV show. So what do? I start watching Squid Game, the reality show. I hated the first one that was fake. Why would I? But I got they reeled me in. I was like, I'm gonna quit this. But then they had a cliffhanger to the second episode. Next thing you know, I'm 5 episodes down.
I would think this was a huge success. So let me get this straight. I saw that there was a new Squid Game season. The new season is a reality show?
Yeah, completely different. I mean, different, but the same motif. They don't really kill you. They put squibs, those, Hollywood blood blow up things
Okay.
on your chest, and that indicates that you die. And these people are so dumb. They fall over as if they really did.
They've committed to the
Maybe
bit.
they get a bonus. I don't care about that. Now, is it
Right. $100 if you really just fall like it's real.
Right. Yeah. I'll play the game. I'll be an actor.
But
Sure.
I saw an interview where somebody goes, it really felt real. It really felt real, Lorenzo.
I don't know. An explosion on your body could feel like somebody hit you. You might be startled. Who cares? Anyway.
Lorenzo got paid top dollar for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Whoever falls best. Do I have the knees for this show? That sounds like such a fun game. Like, if we could, we used to do kids parties, and the best, most fun game at the time was Double Dare. So, of course, we didn't do Double Dare because TM all the way. We did a daring double. And that was just whipped cream, eggs, theirs was slime, complete McDowell, completely different. And so I just think this would be like the best recreation, but I do feel bad for everybody doing kids parties who the moms are calling up going like, what about a Squid Game theme? And you're like, fuck, I got to bring this whole thing to people's backyards. How am I going to simulate this?
Ken is thinking about it and doesn't want to get sued, so keeps making one of the words plural.
Yes, I
totally different thing.
Doubles. Yeah, no, I do love the respect for the trademark.
And I'm sure, the producers.
Like Mark Sumners. That's Sumners with an N.
And the producers,
Mark Autumn.
try to convince the people to amp it up, I'm sure. But my God, you better be getting paid. Like when your face is on camera with your real name and you're going, Jesus had to compete, so I have to compete. I'm like, what did you get paid for that? Because I can't hire you for anything now.
Now, I was raised Jewish. What was Jesus competing with? Like,
they didn't get into it too much, believe it or not. Then they had to play a human form of battleship.
They did a game of red light, green light to get him up on the cross. It was like a slow.
Was it the coat he wanted? Is that what that play is about?
Here's the thing too. The red light, green light is the first episode, and when this doll looks at you, you have to stay still, and when the doll turns its head, you run to the other side. A woman was crouching, and it's red light. She can't move, and then she's like, "Oh fuck, why am I fucking crouching?" Like that was funny. But then like 30 seconds later, she goes, "I can't do it," and sits down and cries. And then the thing, I'm like, "What? I have bad knees, but what the fuck? You can't do it." It's not till later I read 7 hours they were out there, because when you see the show, they go, "I saw these people move, boom, 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 green light." They in real life, we don't have that technology. So they gotta they and it's a lot of money. It's $4 million.
Wow.
One person will get at the end supposedly. And I don't know if somebody splits it or what, but they have to have
go
lawyers
through individually.
Watching. They have to go each one on the camera.
Boy.
She was squatting for an hour. I think you could say that. That's interesting too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think the reality is not real.
Hold on a minute here.
That's what I'm starting to think.
Squatting is also a strange position in that game of run from A to B, like point A to point B. There's not like something you have to duck under tree branches or anything. It's just a straight shot. I don't know why you ever would be squatting, to be fair.
But I don't watch
to duck the bullets because you misunderstood a lot.
Yes, you did not get the rules before it started.
Yeah, you didn't even read the ones that were in bold.
You didn't watch a trailer of the show. You didn't watch a trailer of the first season.
Right.
Yes. Yes. In fact, there's the first 5 episodes. Then they do the marbles game. That's the heartbreaking scene if you saw the original one.
Yes.
And so they stopped it now so that everybody like me talks about it. And then on the 29th of this month, in a couple of days, they'll continue with it so that everybody's caught up.
Yeah, but they're not really dying, so we're cool.
Right.
Like, I'm okay
Right.
that these people go home with slightly more money than they came with slightly less time with their families. I'm good with that.
But I don't see reality shows for the most part. But for those of you that do, I assume this happens on all of them. Jada says, nothing surprises me. I actually have intuition and you can never surprise me. And somebody goes, surprise, I'm kicking you off. I did not see that coming. I did not see these people. They're not even embarrassed. They think they're all, I'm so smart. I'm so wise. I'm so tricky, clever, aware, empathetic, brave, humble, gracious, intelligent. And then the exact opposite thing happened. Do they, I mean, obviously it's put together out of order, but do they go, we need you to say how smart you are? Because we're going to clip in how you're the fucking opposite of that.
I think this is all casting call is. It's not like they picked people based on how, they deciphered which step to go next or they're going to die. These are people who are like, how do you feel you're going to do? Well, I feel like I do the best in life and I'm the best at everything. So I feel like anyone that you hire that's going to go against me is just going to be so dumb. Because really everybody's dumb when you think about it. So I'm going to do the very best.
Yes, and that's who gets cast. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to get hired. Even if I tried, I don't think I'd be able to say something
with that
fucking
attitude.
stupid. I think not with that attitude. They go, and not only like the TV show where you have these games you play, when you're in the dormitory all living together, there's going to be other games. And this guy goes, now that's a social test if I've ever heard of one. Nothing was said.
Hired.
You're hired.
Yeah, if you can get that sound bite for the trailer, oh man, you are hired.
Speaking of what's that, like when the going gets tough, I get tougher. It's like, oh, you really just think you did something right there. Right. Just memorize a whole bunch of those, and
memorize like no fear shirts from the 90s. Like memorize like slogans that were put on No Fear, if you remember that apparel.
You know what?
Was
I just
awesome
feel like if I just keep calm and carry on, that's going to be my legacy. And just so we're clear, I am definitely not here to make friends, although I accidentally did. And oh my God, she's the best. Let me tell you. Now, I don't like her boyfriend, but we'll get into that later when I hate her tomorrow.
Also, Keith, we're engaged, and our marriage will be its own spinoff show. Hopefully.
Also, I'm drunk.
Why do you want to be here, Keith? Well, I'm here for the wrong reasons, first off.
First and foremost, wrong reasons.
And I can use a couple more friends. So, anyway, Forrest bias. Let's do this. I'm from Kentucky, and they think with my accent, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm going to use that to my advantage. How? You're playing tug of war. How the fuck are you going to use people thinking you're dumb to your advantage on any show of any kind?
Yeah, they love when people they love contestants who are like out of the side of their mouth whisper like, I'm gonna get the best of these producers. And like, yeah, the camera's rolling right now. We're all listening to what it is you're saying. But go on.
But I do wonder if they saw the original show. Somebody does try to sneak in extra food. I'm like, if you saw the show, that person dies. So they're probably not gonna let you live.
Yeah. This feels like a test run to see how much bloodlust is actually in the air right now. I feel like we will see in our lifetimes the one where we do have the ultimate stakes.
And you know what, Murph? The good news is I love being tested. I test myself on a daily basis. So actually, I love the upcoming segment. Here we go. Let's go.
Hi.
If you want to be a beast, you gotta do what beasts do.
The more I watch
motivational tapes,
the more I watch it, the more I think everybody's an actor. Like there's out of 400 people, there's only 3 real people. It seems.
Yeah. People get it. It's like we're very savvy now with the way, no matter what genre it is, reality shows being cast. I don't know if you saw that old person Bachelor show. There's like the Bachelor now, but with the older folks. What the hell? The golden years.
The golden years, sure.
The golden years. Yeah. So that's like the same kind. It's like everybody knows what you're being cast as in those shows. I mean, at this point, you don't even need much like manipulation from the producers. I think if you've seen any of this, you're like, okay, I'm the bad person. I'm the drunk person. I'm the naive Midwesterner. I'm the whatever.
That is good though. You have a thing going on The Bachelor. We're watching Hot Idiots. So now what if they're not hot idiots?
Yes. What if they're like calm, cool, experienced, bringing their life experiences so they don't really pop off and say really dumb shit and get hammered. You're like, oh, well, is that a show? Is there any film in those cameras?
They did this in the Squid Game reality show. They did this the cookie challenge, if you saw the original one. and it's a cookie, a sugar cookie with a shape kind of etched into it, and you have to take a needle and break out that image. So you get a circle, a triangle, a star, or an umbrella, the umbrella being the hardest.
Wait, are they doing the exact same games? Because
yes,
we already
in
know
general,
how to hack
yeah.
them.
Not tug of war, because that's going to be dangerous, so they do some kind of human battleship game.
Yeah, but I just feel like we already saw how you have to lick the back and which one is the good one to
Isn't that?
pick.
Yeah,
they do that. You just got to take your time or it cracks. But yeah, they all lick. One guy, I think he threw up in his. I'm not joking. I wonder if you could pee on a cookie. Yeah. But they took
That's
the
a different game, buddy. That's
He
for
was
my
here to make-
OnlyFans.
He was here to make friends, so he's doing something different.
Yeah, that's right. I'm here to make friends. I'm over here and pissing on my cookie in the corner.
But it's hard to tell what's fake and what's real because people are so fucking dumb, as proof by is Godzilla real? So people are this stupid that it's like, okay, 4 people, you're the team leaders. You put your hand on a symbol. That's the symbol you're going to get. And everybody knows you don't want the umbrella. So, okay, you have 2 minutes to decide. And you know, these idiots, they put their hand on a circle and go, pick the umbrella. It's like, I'm not picking the umbrella. We all die if you don't pick the umbrella. Someone has to do it, so you do it. Like, oh, okay, well, how about you fucking do it? That's not what it's about. Don't be petty and just pick the fucking umbrella. It takes them like 3 rounds of different people. They all die, supposedly, because they can't agree. They don't want to pick the fucking umbrella. Like, were you really in this game and that's how you lost? Because you wouldn't pick a fucking umbrella?
So they all lost?
Like 2 or 3 times, groups of 4 lost because they couldn't agree that one person has to bite the bullet and pick the umbrella.
Are you going to watch this whole season?
Yes, I already saw 5. Of course.
Who lost? Who lost?
Who's dumber, them or me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the dumbest thing would be to not finish it out. I will say that. You're halfway there. You got to finish.
What kind of what?
Yes.
Where's
logic?
the logic?
It's not logic. No, that was illogic.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, that was all emotional. I was like, you're all along for the journey. You might as well finish. Because otherwise, 10 years from now, you'll be like making it up in your head. You'll think you watched the whole thing and you'll be like, yeah, remember how that ended? Don't do that to yourself.
Okay. Are you guys watching football? Like, what? Is this how you talk?
I don't leave the last quarter.
Yes. I wouldn't watch the first half and then walk away.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's going to be more of that, probably. I'll see the whole thing. No, they got me. One person dumber than the next. Holy hell.
Would you be on this reality show? You don't have to audition. They called you up. You're a contestant.
Yeah. And I don't think you'd be able to edit it that I look like a fucking moron.
Oh, that's a challenge.
That's a challenge. That's the challenge.
Okay. Okay.
Brilliant people. The challenge.
Okay. How about this? You stepped forward and you fell. What was that about, Keith? You just happened to fall.
Oh, I fell?
You fell, yes.
Oh, this took 7 hours to record. And I fell.
Keith, you still have dirt in your teeth. Why do you have all that dirt in your teeth?
I'm an idiot. Oh, shit. They are good. They really are geniuses, these producers.
We're just going to edit out that, oh, shit. We got it. Just, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
What's especially now? I mean, you know, of course, these producers cheat. But once you saw that show Jury Duty, where it's, you know, it's all made up to get one guy.
That Pauly
Shore
film? What do you mean jury?
No, that's funny. There's a TV show.
I didn't see
and you think that you're on a jury, and it's actually everybody's an actor but you. But all this dumb shit is happening around you. It's that's hilarious.
That's fun, yeah.
But you don't realize it's fake. What a moron. But anyway, once it's legal to do a show like that, how do you trust anything with a camera?
Yeah.
I don't even trust the Zoom room, to be honest. This isn't the shit I really want to say.
Sorry, we're going to isolate when you were joking and said I'm an idiot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's a GIF, man. That's a full-on GIF or GIF, whatever.
One guy goes, I think about my bees every day. He's a bee collection. And then he goes, I wonder if they think about me. Well, that's how you get on these shows.
No, the bee guy's a thing, man. You could sell your own line of honey after that.
Right.
You become an honey influencer after that kind of audition.
And anytime, if there was this battleship game, so there had to be a leader that, you know, said C4, G3. And anytime a team won, the other people are like, I would give my life for this guy. What? We're going to be friends forever. He's a genius. He played Battleship. It's half luck. Start diagonally and then you hope for the best. You're going to give life to him.
Also, Battleship, I'm going to out myself, but I always just move, man. If someone tells me where they're about to fire, I'm moving my ship. I don't give a damn.
It's 2023. My ships move.
My ships can move.
Well, I trust them with my fucking life. Oh, well. Yeah, of course I'm going to keep watching. What are you going to do?
Well, now I don't want to watch because I think I think this is funner.
They showed somebody saying how they need the money and they started doing sign language as they're talking. So I don't know why, or do they have a family member because she's talking
right
just fine. Doesn't have a hearing problem herself. And all it means is like, I like you now, but I don't know why you're doing it, but I like you. Now, if I find out you're fake, that's some kind of weird appropriation. I don't like
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's trying to hop on a moment here where you're like, oh, it's all about accessibility. I'm just going to sign whatever I say in these reality booths, these reality show TV booths.
There's this Italian guy, Lorenzo. And if you've seen this show, you know him. He's a real piece of shit. Anyway, he got kicked out, did an interview. And he's the one who said, it felt like it was real. It didn't feel like you were in a fictional place.
Lorenzo had a break with Lorenzo had an episode. He had a psychotic episode, I believe.
That's where I learned that the first game actually took 7 hours because the lawyers had to look over the footage. The show made headlines earlier this year. I remember this when people received medical treatment during filming and contestants complained about the cold conditions amid freezing UK weather. So I bet it was this game, 7 hours, apparently outside.
Oh, they're outside.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else did I write down? But what about the criticism from Squid Game, says this BBC article, from some fans who are mostly waiting for the second season of the drama confirmed last year that a real-life version flies in the face of the show's message. Yeah, it was people really needed the money in the fictional show, and you're kind of taking advantage of them, making them say, don't worry, murder's okay. The producer, let's see, in the original drama, Netflix's most watched series still.
Wow.
Debt-ridden South Korean contestants compete in a series of children's games for a huge cash prize. The executive producer points out, we're giving, in this new one, we're giving them the most enormous opportunity. And it turns out that's as strong as a motivational story for motivation and a story. So people are saying, is this kind of, you're not getting the point? But every reality show acts like it's deeper than the fuck it is. How deep can it be?
Honestly, if you took away the money, you would still have contestants. So it doesn't matter how deep it could be. It's not going to be.
Right. And by the way, they are saying it'll change their lives. They're saying it'll help their kids, their family.
Of course it will.
Right. It's $4 million.
It doesn't matter how you get it. If $4 million changes,
right.
Your life.
$10,000 changes most people's lives.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
$4 million.
Hey,
that
can I get
generationally changes your life.
Yes.
And you're trying to help people out, but only one person's going to win. So it's like, hey, but I can use a couple bucks for my mom's cancer treatment that you had me talk about. Yeah, should have picked G3.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I guess we're just going to get more of these shows still because we just had the Raiders strike. That seemed to end, but SAG-AFTRA is still, are they still involved? The actors?
Yeah, well, the strike, an agreement, a tentative agreement went out. So we're ratifying the vote. The vote's going to happen. I think it closes in December in like a week or so. But yeah, that's been, well, it's interesting because I was just thinking about that when you said like how many of these people are real, or not in these reality shows. You're like how many? I think we're going to be reaching a point fairly soon where it's like how many of these people just are real at all? Because generative AI, it's like why do we? I guess the stakes still when you're talking about reality TV, I guess the stakes would still be this money could affect their family. Or like if it's a dating show, we still have this like inner thing where we're like, I want people to find love, which of course is not why we watch these shows. That's we know that, but I guess that could still be sold that way.
Has anyone ever found love?
Well, right. I mean, and imagine how much. No, they have not. The answer is 0% shooting percentage on these dating shows. But God bless them for.
Don't you think you should? Not only do you get married legally, you can't end it.
No, you have to like sign on for a certain number of years, 25 years. You have to sign on for at least 25.
Tom Cruise's wife had to have a baby.
See, now Scientology should be running The Bachelor. They should be like, this is how you have to do this. There's an arrangement. You're right. Yeah, Katie Holmes was like a kept woman.
What is the thing with the AI that is so shocking to actors?
I honestly think it's I think some people view it, myself, I would say, as an existential kind of moment in these negotiations. The Writers Guild did, the Directors Guild, like they all, the contracts they signed had very explicit language that were like, no to AI. Like AI can't be in this business in these particular ways. And of course it's always going to sneak in, but I feel like with actors, there's like kind of there's a little bit of a rift here. Whereas, I mean, even in the among the board, there were a few people who came forward and said, Justine Bateman was one of the more publicized ones of saying like, you know, this is a bad contract. There's a lot of stuff with AI that's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. Some stuff that's already going on, but I think their response is, well, it's still not like profitable enough for them to not hire humans and to have these generative AI models, like just create people. But you know, I don't know if you saw the new Ghostbusters movie, what they kind of did with Egon, bringing him back from the dead. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, I think the technology's further than a lot of people realize it is, but I think to do it on scale, what I always go back to is like, do you remember how bad the early CGI was, like in Hollywood? Like they used to really explode a car. Like a car used to have to actually be on a closed set where they blew it up. And then, but the first like green screen shit looks terrible when you go back and look at it, but it didn't stop them from being like, well, this is the only game in town. So I feel like it's going to be a similar kind of thing where background actors will start to be stunt performers, will start to go away like actual humans, and they'll be replaced when it becomes cheaper. And then I think at a certain point, A-listers are always going to be able to negotiate on their own behalf, which is what makes this a weird union. It's like the 1% kind of isn't really in the union. Like they don't need to be, they have their own representation, their own whatever. And then it's the rest of us. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this vote shakes down.
And I've seen parts of The Bachelor. You can't help yourself. And those look like AI as it is. So
don't they already? They're all going to the same shitty, like person doing Botox and whatnot to their face. It's like, they all have this mold that they're trying to fit into. So it'll be interesting to watch the first AI Bachelor.
So what does this mean? How we are looking to an end of the strike, it looks like?
Well, I mean, if they need a 51%, it's going to go to a vote to ratify. So either we vote no and then, go back to the table and the strike's back on. But the way SAG's kind of the brass, at least at SAG, is presenting this is like the strike's over, but it's not. It's just suspended until we vote, until the rank and file votes on the actual contract.
You know what that reminds me kind of? Maybe this is a weird comparison. Obama was taking people out of all the soldiers out of Afghanistan. And my brother's like, that's interesting because I'm going there.
This is the perfect analogy. And the stakes are equal, Keith. The stakes here are equal. Are we going to get a Fast and the Furious 12 with Paul Walker brought back from the dead? And are we withdrawing from Afghanistan? I mean, it's the same goddamn thing.
You're right. Hi, Keith and Chemda. This letter says, I'm 40, straight, white male human, 3 kids, and I do give a fuck about this email. I came across Keith and the Girl around 14 years ago, listening to a now defunct radio station, which thankfully stole your podcast. Pretty much a daily listener since. I heard you read an email someone wrote in a while back with the same story, so I know I'm not alone. Yeah, radio shows regular radio would just play our podcast.
Oh, right.
Had their own commercials, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Weird.
You guys have been part of most
Wherever you
of my
can
adult
hear
life.
This, go to keithandthegirl.com.
Right.
We are a free podcast. Guys.
Here at Tacoma Toyota, get yourself no money down.
Anytime like Chemda says that and you hear then the story continues. You guys have been part of most of my adult life in a way that I feel like you're part of my family. Thank you for everything you've given me over the years. Countless hours painting houses, listening to you two has kept me vaguely sane. Best of luck in the future. Much love. Permanent listener, VIP member, Luke from Australia, sent from my iPhone. That's me. Thank you.
Yeah, Luke.
We have a marathon show.
Vaguely sane.
Vaguely sane isn't bad.
That's a great title for something.
It's a band. It's a good band name, maybe like a goth band. Vaguely sane.
Yeah.
Is Godzilla real? Vaguely sane is good enough. Is Godzilla real?
Is Godzilla vaguely sane?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's your neighbor who votes. Is Godzilla real? Marathon show is coming up, 24 hours with over 50 guests popping in the entire time. The marathon starts on February 3rd and goes until the next day. That, of course, is assuming the Kickstarter gets funded. We're 60% now, but we are at the final days. Normally during our Kickstarter for the marathon, we have shout out rewards. You get that during our Kickstarter, and you hear the words out of our faces during the marathon. This year, we're changing things up. You can sponsor a Keith and the Girl episode. Pick a date, hear your shout out. Could be for a business, hello to a loved one. You rate it, we'll say it. Pick your birthday, pick a partner's birthday, an anniversary, or just mention a new project you have. Get your shout out on the 2024 Keith and the Girl episode of your choice by going to our Kickstarter today and snagging your spot on a Keith and the Girl episode. KeithandTheGirl.com/kick. All right. Let's see here. Murf.
Yes.
Anything the audience should know that they don't know about you?
No, not really. Self-managed, not
Turn it
much.
off, turn it off.
That's it. Yeah, this is on the sly. This is not for public. No,
This is what they shouldn't know. Here we go.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, no, just just working on my podcast, working on a new season of stuff. Trying to just get some raise some funding for harm reduction services here in Oregon. They had the big measure 110, which was decriminalizing of possession of drugs, which that money that was generally going to be spent on that, and some of the revenue from the legal cannabis sale was supposed to go towards funding housing and treatment programs and stuff for people. The money, surprise, surprise, as it goes through the bureaucratic hoops, has been slow to actually trickle out onto the street. So people are getting a little restless about the passage of Measure 110, and there's talk that they're going to overturn it and go back to the more punitive, because they're like, hey man, there's still people on the streets having a hard time. And you're like, yeah, there were two parts to this. The decriminalizing is one thing, but then the other part is trying to get the actual funding for housing and for treatment for people. So
how don't you give up? You're one of the good ones. How don't you give up? How don't you see, is Godzilla real, and go like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm done. I know. No, I know. I'm still trying to just get people to realize Godzilla is real. I will fight till my last breath. I will tell people Godzilla is real.
So that's the podcast weekly dose.
Yeah.
You want to download. You put together a great show. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's it. One more time, KeithandTheGirl.com/kick. I do want to do this marathon, and we'll talk to you soon. Stick around. This is going to close up, though. Thank you, Murph.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Can't
Can't believe it's marathon time already.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Sorry. Oh, so Nadine earlier said, I didn't know narwhals were real animals till a few years ago. Who knows?
Unicorn
Godzilla
fish.
and dinosaurs.
Yeah, who knows?
That's right. Yeah, Godzilla's along those lines. Are narwhals real? Yes.
I just wanted to read that because it wasn't timely during the show, so I wanted to say hi. Click all the buttons in front of you. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Murph. Follow Murph everywhere that you can